Okay, who's got a first definition of leadership for us? Very quickly.
Actually, I was thinking of words like inspiring, mentoring, managing, instructing, unraveling potential. These are the words that came up to my mind when I thought of leadership.
Well, you're kind of cheating because you moved on to my next slide there. that was when we were going to get onto what was good leadership. But first of all, I was asking what is leadership, but we will get there in the next slide. But what actually is leadership? So not what embodies leadership, what is the act of leadership?
Maybe managing humans?
Managing humans, yeah, that's not unreasonable. Anyone else?
Okay. As far as I'm concerned here, the term leadership is concerned with the power of influencing others' behaviors, skills, and practices in order to lead them to be self-monitored.
Okay, that's very interesting. You've got power and self-monitoring in the same sentence, which is very good. Two definite, very strong things which will come up thematically in today's session, the concepts of power in leadership, but also the idea of people being able to self-influence and control themselves. So that's very interesting. Just this one first.
I would say it is the art and science of moving people from the current situation to a picture, a vision in the future, through motivating them, through pushing them, through inspiring them.
Excellent. Inspiration is definitely going to come up. I'm very interested by the use of the word science. I think there's a lot of people who would very much like it to be, and there's a lot of people who would like to sell you things telling you that it's a science, so that you will then buy a product which will enable you to be able to lead and manage people using a certain set of prescriptive directives, but I might lean the other way and go stronger on the art than the science, yes. But definitely there are people who will heavily lean towards telling you it's a science, but yes?
Good morning. Maybe it's the same idea. I think it's to lead or to guide group of people from one level to other, or to aim to achieve an aiming. I don't know, like this.
Yes, no, I think there's got to be the idea of a goal. There has to be the idea of somewhere or some place that you want somewhere to get to. That I think your colleague here mentioned. There has to be an idea of purpose. And I think vision usually comes up a lot in leadership, this idea that the person has to have a view and an idea of where they want to be. One last one.
I think rather than actually organizing people or managing people, we could think of it as the art of supporting people in achieving in what they know how to do best and achieving their full potentials, excelling in it, to actually serve a common purpose. But it's not like we're managing pegs on a chessboard. It's rather like supporting them and being the glue that glues a team together.
Excellent. Yeah, again, art I think is important. Supporting people I think is important. I think what I want to say is that there definitely isn't a right answer. I don't think it's one of those words which is there to be defined. But that doesn't mean that I don't think it's something that isn't worth reflecting on quite a lot. I don't think it's something that you can have a wrong answer. In my previous life before education, I studied philosophy, and one of philosophy's hobbies is looking at words, and particular favourites are words like good and what is beauty, etc. And I think we all know roughly what these words mean, but actually defining them and discussing them and arguing about them can be useful, but probably won't produce a very agreed on definition. So I think the second quote there are at least as many definitions of leadership as people who've tried to define it, is quite apposite. I don't think it means it's futile to try to define it. I think it means it's important that we try and that we reflect on it and think about it. It just means that the answer isn't going to be so easy to quantify. But I don't think that in any way makes it any less important that we try. One sort of prolonged one from a reasonably authoritative text on leadership is that leadership is a process whereby an individual influences a group of individuals to achieve a common goal, which I think a lot of you said, the idea of the goal, the aim to get to. This is from someone called Peter Northouse, who wrote a reasonably influential book on leadership, who says it's a process that involves influencing, which I think several of you mentioned. A lot of support for the idea that it occurs in groups these days, and also common goals, which I think some of you mentioned. Okay, now we're back to whoever was in the corner. So now we know roughly what leadership is. What makes a good leader? What are their qualities? Very quickly, with your partners again, do discuss. What were their qualities? What did they do that made them a good leader? What is it that enables you to get people to common goals? What is it that enables you to influence people? A quick list, maybe 5 points. We can have the lights back on. Okay, so qualities a leader or a manager you've admired. What's important in a leader? Innovative. Innovation is definitely one of the most important qualities recognized by companies these days, definitely. Persuasive. Adaptable. Flexible. Oh, okay. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Good. That's interesting, actually. Accepts other people's opinions and delegates authority.
We said empathy and emotional intelligence as the first thing, because outside of that, then you know who to delegate to, how to delegate to individual people, and then get the potential out of each individual person.
Very good. So this is very good. So it's about getting the most out of the other individuals.
I think the good leader who works to create leaders through empowering his staff and work on the potentials of those staff and give opportunity for them to be developed, and also work as change agent.
Work as a change agent. Excellent. Okay, this is good. This is moving across the room in a very progressive manner.
He should have also the power of inspiration, the power to change the world. Yeah, and to be very influential.
Yes, to inspire.
Yeah.
To inspire and to influence, yes.
I'll only mention 2. He has an agile mind.
Agility in this conference is obviously very important.
He has the ability to create leaders.
I think that's what was being stressed there. Yes, I mean, that's the importance of this conference, is the ability to create leaders, to create in others, yes. Open door, to be very available and sociable. Yes, I think that's important. Okay, and there are a few. I think generally there's a lot of positive adjectives, and we could all sort of say, but I think you managed to get the key point as we went across the room. Very traditionally, and it sort of came out in that first question of, when I asked initially, what does leadership mean? There was an immediate impulse to say, what are the characters of a leader? And originally when people looked at leadership theory and they talked about what leadership was, that kind of was what leadership was. It was about describing a person and a character and the characteristics of that person. And it was about thinking that leadership was about the qualities of the person and their ability to influence others. And very typically, reveal about the qualities possessed by the individual. And it was quite interesting as we sort of move across the room there, that we didn't just talk about the qualities and the ability of the individual, to the ability of the individual to change others. And we'll see, hopefully, as the workshop progresses, that became more and more important. Okay, now we're not right now, because there's more people here than we were expecting, and I'm not entirely sure that we've got quite enough. But we're just going to have a very quick review. So as I said, in the very original ideas about leadership theory, this was the sort of great men of the world, and one of the very first theories was indeed called the great man theory, and had people like Alexander the Great and Winston Churchill and Gandhi, and they simply had these great qualities that made them leaders, and they were born, and that was it, and that was how they became leaders. And since then, it's progressed a little bit. So on your tables, I'm afraid you don't have enough. There should be 2 sets on most of the tables, or some of the tables. You have some brief outlines of, I think, 8 of the most popular sort of chronological leadership from the last 50 years and their titles. See if you can just match them together. Is everyone finished? Everyone roughly happy? These things are roughly chronological, they largely overlap, but certainly the great man theory and trait theory, as we just looked at, came quite early on. This idea that leaders were born, not made, that they had certain qualities and characteristics that were inherent in them, and then theories of the situation and that people needed to behave in certain ways in order to respond to the situation became more common. Well, one thing that is quite noticeable in terms of the great man theory is that if you look at leadership theory in literature, you'll see that it's no longer held to be credible, and yet if you look at the media, you'll still see reference to Steve Jobs and Mark Zuckerberg and great leaders who have done these companies, and they're generally held to have done it all on their own, and they're still held as great leaders, and you'll see great quotes from them as so the great man leader theory still actually holds a lot of common acceptance in the popular press, even if it doesn't in sort of leadership theory. I think the thing that's become very interesting certainly in the last 10, 15 years in leadership theory is the absolute importance that's been placed on followers. And some people have now actually started referring to followership theory in terms of the importance of the follower in leading. You cannot lead if you haven't got followers. You're not a leader if no one's following you. It doesn't really matter what the leader's characters and qualities and personal characteristics are. If no one's following, you're not a leader. So what is it about the followers? And what do you need to do? So there's been a lot of work focusing on followers and how you make sure that you're engaging with them. So that's what we're just going to have a quick look at now, is the attitude of leaders to followers. So in terms of that separation between the idea that possibly we hinted at the beginning of the session, that the idea is that the leader, the person with power, the person who has control, and the autocratic or paternalistic kind of theories of leadership where the leader has control. It's also the attitude to the follower, which is very, very important, as we'll have a look well, hopefully we'll see in a moment. So I'm just going to give you a questionnaire now to have a look at your attitude to your followers, basically. For the survey, you could substitute the word teacher, I guess, or possibly student if you wanted. Once again, I don't think there's enough, but there may be one for two, I think, hopefully. But essentially, the question will be asking you about your attitude to the people that you lead. And you answer on a scale of 1 to 5, where 1 is if you believe it least, and 5 is if you believe it most strongly. So 5 is agree strongly, 1 is disagree. 1 is disagree, 5 is agree strongly. Yeah, this is your personal opinion about the people that you lead, basically, about your followers. The people that you lead, do you agree or disagree with those statements? 5 is agree strongly, 1 is disagree. Yes, so do you agree with these statements? If you agree strongly, it's 5. If you disagree, it's 1. Okay, I think most of you have finished, some of you are a little bit longer than others. If you hadn't noticed, and I trust you have noticed, there is a difference between the odd and the even numbered questions. So if you just very quickly tally up your totals for count how many points did you score for the questions of the odd numbered questions and how many for the even questions. So how many points did you put for the ones 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11? And how many points did you get for 2, 4, 6, 8, 10?
Okay, so who got the most on the odd questions? How many did you all get score total for the odd questions? For the odd questions? 28? Anyone get more than 28 in the odd? 26? 33 for odd? 45 for odd? Anyone go higher than 45 for odd? Anyone higher than 45 for odd? 60 odd? Yeah. 60 on odd? Yeah? 60. Okay, where is it? 45. 60. 22. Okay. And even? How many are even? 31, 60, 41. 46 is good. 61. 49.
51.
Right? 52.
51.
51. Okay, that's good. 12.
Sir, I can't.
I think I got them the wrong end before. Yeah.
I think the word most is very
I think it's got a little bit. I'll come back to that one later. I should have mentioned at the beginning, one of the reasons I gave up being a teacher was because my instruction giving was very unclear. Anyway, basically you shouldn't have got higher, you should hopefully have got higher scores for even and odd. The questions were based on something put together by a behavioural scientist called Douglas McGregor quite a long time ago, and it's only recently come back into interest. But he essentially put together a theory that said that a manager's attitude to his staff could be looked at in either of two ways, and he called these theory X and theory Y. So all of the questions that were odd were indicative
of a manager's attitude of the X and their belief in human nature, that people are naturally passive, that they prefer to do nothing, they remain children, which is kind of what I mentioned at the beginning of the session, where the style of leadership stays the same because children essentially grow up and become adults, but you treat them the same. It assumes that people basically don't enjoy their job, and it assumes that you need to tell them what to do because they don't want to be there. And I think it's quite obvious what the implications are for leadership if that's your assumption about the people that you're leading. If you think they don't want to be there and they don't want to work, then your leadership style is going to be naturally quite autocratic and quite disciplinarian and quite compartmentalised and probably quite negative. All of the questions that were even were indicative of what McGregor called theory Y, which essentially had quite a strong belief in people, that they were naturally active, that they set goals, that they would strive, that they were creative, and that you gave them freedom, they would actually achieve. Which again was something that we did touch on at the beginning, that a leader's role is to give people support and to give them room, and that then they would grow. But the strange consequence of this was not just its implication for leadership theory in the sense that if you treat people like this it may be better. It was in fact that these attitudes were actually self-fulfilling. So that actually the assumption that the manager or leader holds about the employee would actually come true. So essentially, if you believe that the people that you're managing need to be controlled, that they need to be led, that they need to be told what to do all the time, that they need to be watched, that they need to be monitored, else they won't do something, then you'll find that suddenly these ideas will be brought to life by employees' behaviour because they will start to act in that way. So essentially, it probably is quite a bad idea to treat staff in such a way. And I think that doesn't just apply to theory X, theory Y, it applies to any form of group discrimination in management and leadership where you make assumptions about individuals and what they may or may not do. If you start applying prejudice to people's behaviours, they may well start acting in such a way. So it just isn't a good idea to discriminate, but particularly in terms of assumptions about how to lead, and particularly about how to lead groups of people. We don't have much time left. We just have a few minutes. The last thing I wanted to look at was what was touched on at the very beginning. Was this idea that leadership, so if we accepted that leadership is not simply about the individual and how he controls and is able to affect the future, and it's also about the followers and the people who are also in that environment. The environment also is very important, as a colleague who may now have disappeared. He's left. Touched on at the very beginning. Leadership involves controlling not just the followers, but the climate and influencing as much as you can the environment in which people work in order to create a situation that they're able to flourish, that they're able to grow and develop. A lot of the things that we touched on. So it's not just about the leader's ability to do what they can on their own, but it's about creating a situation in which all of the individuals are able to grow. So the last bit we're going to look at, if we've got time, will be just the factors in your environment that you can control. What is it that you think you can do as leaders and managers? What factors in the environment where you work can you control that you think will enable the people that you work with to grow and develop and work optimally to achieve as much as they can under your leadership? So if you just quickly in your groups have a look at these 3 questions, if you can see them.
What aspect of your working environment
So, okay, I think I want to left, so we probably should finish. The last part was really, in terms of your climate as a leader, there's certain things you can't change, and there's certain things you can change. Some of the things that we looked at around at the beginning in an attempt to kind of bring this full circle and have closure. I think the point really that I wanted to make was, as a leader, in terms of cats, there's certain things that you can control. You can't really just tell people what to do. As a leader, it certainly isn't just about you, and it isn't just about people. It's about creating an environment and about the things that you can control and things that you can change. And so in terms of some of those qualities and some of those ideas that we talked about at the beginning, about providing support, about the qualities, this is taken actually from something called a situational occupancy questionnaire, which is about assessing the working environment. But it's about assessing the working environment that you can change as a leader and as a manager, and the factors that affect the working place and the workforce and their attitudes to work, and how you can challenge and involve people by giving them freedom, by allowing them to take risks, by trusting them, by supporting them, by allowing them to debate ideas. So some of the things that we looked at in some of the theories about participation, about democratic leadership, about listening to other people's opinions and ideas. In terms of the conflict, that's about how you deal with conflict, how you make sure that you're not just having conflict, which usually does come from a very simple disagreement, which usually tends to come from autocratic approaches to leadership. So I think it's about making sure that leadership is about dealing with a very holistic idea of the whole environment, about what you can control, what you can change. It's not about a person as an individual, and it's not just about people. So to finish on your cats, you can't really manage cats, but you can put them in a space where they can be productive and feel supported. And as a leader and manager, you can assume the best of your teachers and staff, and you can help create an environment that gives them the best opportunity to thrive and develop, and to do otherwise, and to not give them that. You can expect. And actually what we saw from the Theory X thing is that you can actually guarantee the worst if you do expect the worst. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you for staying.